Okay, guys, we are back with episode 2, part 2 of our gay edition.
Can you tell us a little bit about, I guess, how was it for you coming out?
Well, for me, I actually did not come out. I was pulled out. I was in the 9th grade, and I walked into my classroom. It was my math class, very last class of the day. And I forgot if he was our permanent teacher or whatever he was. But his name was Mr. Osifi. I'll never forget that name. I walked in the classroom. I was late, but I think I had an excuse. I had a green call pass. I came in, and this boy said to me, no lie, he said, "Hey, yo, Will, I heard you was gay. Is it true?" Dead silence. Nothing. Not a pin drop. Can't even feel a mouse run. I was like, I was stuck. And I was like, I cannot believe this is really happening to me. I was like, is this happening to me? I pinched myself. And I remember looking around, and I was like, is this a joke? Like, was this serious? This one boy came up to me. He was like, "Will, you're not gay, is you? Is it true? Is it true?" My teacher was trying to kick me out the class because he was like, "Oh no, I'm not about to." He was African. Right. I'm not about to have,
a gay student,
et cetera, et cetera. Even though you was only with us for 3 months. So, I mean, some people in the classroom found it funny, and I don't know why it happened the way that it did, but I just kind of let it go, and I didn't even know how to even speak up for myself to say nothing. But seeming as though that happened, it went to the next class, and the next class. Everybody on the row of where my classroom was, everybody knew about it when the school was over. I was hauling for the bus. I remember the day. I remember everything that happened that day. Everything was good, and it was like things were just weird right after that. But I remember in the 11th grade, I wrote, my friends helped me write a letter to my parents. And the letter basically said that it was something I was struggling with, et cetera, and I'm homosexual. I remember passing the letter to my mother. Remember passing it to her, and you know how old people, mature folk, I'll say, put on their glasses and they have them just like this, and they reading something. Yeah. And I know my mom's gonna watch this after it's done because she said she wanted to see it. She said, "Oh, Will, you're a homosexual, huh? Go downstairs and tell your father, and then let me know what he think about that." I will never forget that as long as I live. And I remember I took the letter downstairs. I was very hesitant because me and my dad were very, very, very close. And his opinion, not saying my mother's didn't, but his opinion was like everything to me. Mm-hmm. So when I took it downstairs, I was just like, okay, so how you about to do this? My dad is a military vet, Vietnam War, all of that. So I'm just like, right. Like, what am I going to do?
Right.
So I went downstairs, and a letter. He got his readers on. He reading. They down here too. He just reading. He was like, "I don't understand." I was like,
"What you mean?
What you mean you don't understand?" He was like, "Son, I'm being honest. I just really don't get it." I was like, "Let me point this out to you." So I pointed to it, and he said, "I just don't get it."
Because I feel like for that same-sex parent, it's an attack on them. Like they
think that it was something that they did. Yeah. So I said, "Read this piece right here to me." And he was like, okay. He read it. And he was like, "Oh, no. He just kept saying no. And I'm just like, I mean, what do you want me to do? So he went outside. My dad smoked cigarettes, Newport 100s. I remember he went outside, and he just went outside, and he did not come back in for a long time. And he didn't talk about it. but my dad had a very close relationship with his sisters, and he talked to them about it, and it was a very hard battle for me and him. And my dad was sick, and I didn't know it until after graduation. But my dad had cancer, so we were just going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And at the very end, he said that he was just very afraid that someone would try to harm me and do something to me. That's what his biggest concern was, because there were so many signs throughout my adolescent life, elementary, middle, you name it.
Right.
So many things that have happened that was just like, he's gay.
Right.
But I think that a lot of old school parents assume that when you say you're gay, you're trying to turn into a woman.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember me and my dad had a conversation when I was younger, and I told him that, I have thoughts. I remember this, and I never told nobody this, so this is the first time anyone's hearing this out loud. I told him, I said, I had thoughts, of men or whatever, and I don't know what to really do.
Mm-hmm.
He was just like, you don't want to be a woman, do you? I was like, no. I was like, he got to crying and stuff. That's why I get my emotions from him. He was crying, snot, and I'm like, oh, this is not what I wanted to happen.
Right.
So I said, no, I don't want to be a woman. But there was another incident, going backwards, my sister, and I don't care if anyone sees this piece, but I told my sister about a situation that I had with my first boyfriend. And
I don't know.
Insider.
People, I don't know what he's talking about.
That was a moment.
Do I?
no, you do.
I do.
You do.
You do. Continue.
so
Right. Jose, we just here. Like,
my bad. Okay. Okay. When I've known her for years, I thought she was gonna catch on, but I think she is. But I think I need to clarify.
No, it's gonna
later.
As soon as we walk out, she's
Right.
oh,
we've been drinking.
She's gonna get it as soon as the camera cut off. So I told her, I said, I'm being transparent. Me and my first boyfriend, we were together, and we were trying to take it to that next level.
Sex.
Correct.
Okay.
And boom, 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 it happened. It was.
Was he DL? I know who you're talking about.
I don't know. To be honest, I don't know what to call it back then.
Okay.
I don't know what to call it back then, but that's in the past. Now it's now.
Right.
We're good. But I told my sister about it, and she said she was just so concerned.
Was he the top of the bottom? I'm sorry.
good on you and using what you like.
I'll answer that last.
Okay. Because I'm curious.
I told her, and that weekend I went out with my friends. It was a group of us. We all hung out together in high school. Hey guys, if you're watching. And we went to Wheaton Mall to the movies. The one that's on the back end.
Mm-hmm.
We went there, and we went to go see some scary movie, and I was terrified. Parents dropped us off. It was no issues. Got back in the car. It's dead silent. And I was like, what the hell's going on? Why is it so quiet? Someone came to my house while I was at the movies to drop off my niece's graduation photos. And she told my parents everything that I told her.
Your sister did?
Yeah.
Damn.
And I didn't find this out till I got back home.
Mm.
So when they were in the car, it was just I knew something was wrong. I'm a big person on energy. I can feel everything.
And so let me just stop you for a second.
Yeah.
So this person that went to your parents' house and told them whatever, your sister, does this happen after or before you wrote them the letter?
This happened before.
Oh.
So they already had an inkling by the time you gave them that letter.
Correct, but my response from what my sister told them was something to kind of push it up under the rug for now.
Okay, so what was that response?
Basically, there was an object used, and the object was something that you use on your food, and it was basically...
Can you share what that is?
It was a salt and pepper shaker. And the question was asked, do you want something like this up your ass?
Okay.
And I said no. And I knew that me being very witty and had to think quick on my feet, I had to do something. I said no.
Which is probably factual. You didn't want no salt.
That's not fun.
Right.
So,
telling a lie.
Right.
so I said, well, no. Went upstairs. I called my friends. I can't fully remember the conversation, but I remember us talking about it. And after that, the next day, my sister comes over. She comes over. She gives rules and instruction. My door needs to stay open. I don't need to do this. I don't need to do that. Woo, woo, woo. And I said, this is odd. I wasn't really sure where this was coming from. So she drew in my proactive box. I think I still have the box. I kept it because I said, I want to remember what you said and what you did to me. She drew in the proactive box. She drew heaven, hell, the planets, all that stuff, and told me if I didn't do this and I didn't do that, and if I stayed the way that I was, this is where I was going to go. You know where that place was? Okay. So it was just a big thing. And I never fully felt okay to talk to her on a personal level. And when my dad passed, that was the next time we kind of spoke after that. And when I was trying to learn how to drive and stuff. But after that, we haven't spoken. But I've just had sequences where it's like, okay, he's gay, but people aren't getting it, people aren't saying it. And I think that everything was supposed to happen in the way that it was supposed to happen for reasons, but I don't think people were really paying attention.
Do you guys feel that when people do make comments about gay people in church and religion, like how does that play in your life?
I've actually been in a very awkward situation with the church. That same time I was talking about when I went to Charlotte.
What happened to Charlotte?
Charlotte was an experience because, like, I'll say back here, I wasn't involved with the gay scene. But when I went down to Charlotte, that was like my throwing into, shout out to Scorpios, that club was lit. We were turned up, but literally say if Saturday night was Scorpios night and we're just like fucked up and doing all that, Sunday, the guy who was hosting us, his whole family was religious. Like his stepfather was a deacon.
And he was gay too, and nobody knew.
Well, yeah, it was that denial. It's that denial, you know. So his grandmother had a separate church. So like his mom and his dad went to their own church, but we ended up going to his grandmother's church, and so it was me, him, and two other guys. And so we get to the church now. He's in the front, you know, performing, singing, doing everything. And then his grandmother gets on the mic, the pastor, evangelist, and so she's just like, I feel the spirit of homosexuality is in the church right now, and you know, people are encroaching and influencing my... No, she didn't say directly my grandson, but she said people will try to influence your family. They're going to try to come for your family. Gay? is the boy gay?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, the boy's gay. That's what I'm saying. We were visiting him. He's the one who sent us, and we went to Scorpios together. I'm from Maryland, D.C., let's be clear. So I went down there, and I got exposed. You know what I mean? I wasn't going to clubs.
Not the heathen.
Right.
I wasn't going to clubs at that time in my life.
Right.
And so I'm just kind of like, wow. So here I am, sitting in the back of this church, being called out, basically, because it wasn't even big enough for, like, I'm trying to estimate, it was maybe like 40 people in the church. You know what I'm saying? It was a small type situation.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, I know who you're talking to. You're talking to us. You know what I mean? And I don't know where she got that from just off of looking at us. But I guess, like you said earlier, people take their cues. Mm-hmm. But that was a really tough one for me because I never was called out in that. Like, yeah, in school, people might make a comment here and there, but I've always considered myself, and still do consider myself, a very spiritual person. And so it's like my heart is clear. Like, I feel like my relationship with God, we good. You know what I mean?
Right.
But when that whole situation happened, I'm like, this lady really trying to run me out of this church, basically, because if you telling me, or you basically saying as a general statement, blanket statement, that the spirit of homosexuality is like gonna attack the family, what are you really trying to say? You know what I mean? So that was a tough one.
I think that a lot of times with churches that they preach a lot of things, but they're not actually practicing what they preach. And it's like they tell you to come as you are, and they tell you, you know, we want you, and this, that, and the third. And I'm not gonna say that things are not in the Bible, but I will say that I think that it's best with churches that you touch people, and not physically, but
my thing is to your point, you bring them in, don't push them away.
Exactly.
I felt very pushed away. I was just like, all right, this is my cue. I need to get up out of here, you know?
Because we're not supposed to be judgmental. We're supposed to, you know, take care of our, you know, brothers and sisters. Like, I hate for someone to say to me, like, you know, oh, you need to go to church, or oh, you need to pray, you need to do this. But it's like, you're not with me 24/7. Just because I'm not checking in for church every Sunday, that doesn't necessarily mean I'm not there. Mm-hmm. It doesn't necessarily mean I'm not doing, you know, bedside church.
Baptist.
Yeah, bedside. But at the end of the day, you getting your word at the end of the day. And honestly, I think that this world would be a much better place if people realize that you're going to get judged and you should just worry about yourself. Mm-hmm. Because when you go to heaven, or whatever happens, I'm not saying you won't go to heaven, I'm just saying. But when you're getting judged, he's not going to look at what Arabia did to you when she was younger. He's going to look at what you did. Mm-hmm. And so it's like, and please forgive me for things that I've done to you in the past, because I've done some things. But you know, I'm just saying, we have to, again, back to what I said earlier, look at self.
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
So
100%.
Yeah, absolutely. Me in church, like, you know, I have my relationship with God. I'm much more spiritual now.
Okay.
Versus religious. It's funny. It was one of my first cues that my mom was on my side, actually. After all the initial, after that conversation when I was outed, the first thing was, this is in the Bible, this is not supposed to be right, it's not this, it's not that. Also something that Will had touched on, where he said that his father didn't want his, like, kind of, he didn't want your life to be harder. Mm-hmm. My mom said that to me later. She's like, you're already a black female. Right. Why would you add anything to that to make it harder? Mm-hmm. But not obviously, but you know, it's not a choice. Mm-hmm. I could choose to live my life for you, and I could be sad, and I could be broken, just trying to do whatever. But so my generation and my church, when I say to church, anybody that's watching, you know, and my peers, I don't know what was in the water, who was praying what kind of way. There's a number of us that was in that youth choir, like half of it, I don't know what it is, females and males, that we are gay, lesbians, and it was before we even made it to adulthood that there was, my mom said it was a whole meeting that they had. That's how quote unquote bad it was.
Wow.
And until that time, like my mother told me, she was like, she was sitting at the table with this board of people, and they were in a way bashing us. We're all still children. We're not doing anything wrong in a real way. You know,
And at what age was this? I'm sorry.
I might have been 18 at the time she told me this. But this group of kids, like, we're all within a certain, like, around that age. We were all teenagers in the same choir. And apologize to anybody that just didn't want their stuff to be out. But everybody that I'm talking about, all right, y'all know. Anyway, so she said it was at that moment she was sitting there and she was listening, and they were just saying things that were not true about her child. Saying bad things, the potential things that we all could be doing that she knew, not just me, but everybody else spoke about. We're not bad kids.
Sure.
We're not bad kids. We're just dating people they didn't want us to date.
Right.
We're exploring ways that they were not comfortable with. And so she stood up for me and was like, wait a minute. Like, she said she was kind of not there, and then all of a sudden she's like, wait. No, they're not all these things. They're just simply like, it was a trigger for her to see things differently. It pointed out a perspective for her. It kind of the nature thing where it was like, wait, now you're talking about my child, which you're not going to do.
Right.
Like, but
Mama
before
mode.
that, she was kind of doing the exact same thing.
All right. How old were you when you first, like how you said you knew you had those feelings? So how old, I'm just curious, like, how old were y'all when y'all had those first
Ladies
feelings?
go first.
Thank you. So, to be honest, I was a tomboy. I was just big on playing and having fun for a long time. So I didn't think about sex necessarily, even kissing and stuff for real, for far after my friends did. So, looking back, I realized some of the people that I wanted to be my best friends, I probably had a crush on. Not all of them. Not all of y'all. No. But middle school. Things of sort.
Because I've heard some really early ages.
Oh, no, definitely. I've heard some early
I'm going to take it all the way back.
To the sandbox?
I'm going to say 4.
To the sandbox?
4 and 3. When I don't know how my memory is set up, I'm able to remember all of the things that I remember, but I remember I was young. And I'm like, how does this happen? To one, is this something that has trickled down from way back when? Because sometimes it skips. It's something may happen to one person, but it doesn't fully go all the way through, and it just stops. It skips, and then it hits one person, and you're just like, well, damn, okay, I'll just go ahead and take it. Because if I had the choice, I wouldn't be, but clearly God does make mistakes.
Do you think that sometimes with people who are homosexual that it comes from being touched by some your face, but it comes from being touched or molested by someone of the same sex, or
Absolutely not.
okay.
No.
For me, absolutely not. It has nothing to do with that, because on either line of it, you have straight people that have been molested and they're living straight ass lives, and you have gay people that have been molested by opposite same or, and you're gonna be who you're gonna be with whatever trauma you have. And you can blame it on that, and you can still be living your trauma and not be living your whole self. But no, you're gonna be who you're gonna be.
Were you gonna say something?
Well, for me, I was touched. However,
At 4?
going into 5, I was, but prior to that, things were already happening. So,
And was this? I'm sorry, not to be personal. And you don't have to answer if you're uncomfortable. But was it by a man or was it by a woman?
a man or boy, whatever you want to call him.
Okay. So y'all was the same age. I'm sorry. Were y'all the same age?
He was slightly older than me. I don't know how he managed to be in my grade, but he was older than me. He knew a whole bunch of stuff that he should have known. But, I mean, if that wouldn't have happened, I still would be the same.
Right.
I mean, maybe my apprehensions may be slightly different, but I would still be the same. I would still be gay, regardless.
To answer my own question that I posed to the panel too, I was what I would call a late bloomer. I literally was one of those people that was like, I'm just here to have fun. I'm not like, even in middle school, I wasn't really experimenting with any one girl or boy. So I was definitely slow to the game, even though I knew things was happening and people was talking and be like, oh, they did this or they did that. I was also touched, but I think...
Was it by a man or woman?
It was by a male. And I mean, it wasn't
age?
someone who was like a grown male. It wasn't that. But it was definitely like, we had like maybe 4 years apart from each other.
And how old were you, if you don't mind me asking?
If I had to be around like 9.
Okay.
Yeah, I was around like 9. And so that's the thing is like, I think it was one of those things where, you know, even if like I could say I was a late bloomer, I wasn't interested necessarily in going that far. It's like how we started a conversation about people picking up on cues, right? Because I remember adults talking about me, even, you know, people, like adults being like, oh, like my mom was talking to a guy at one point and I overheard him saying like, he's sweet, like he definitely is going to be, you know, gay. And my mom was just kind of like, what? Like, and she got into mama mode, but I think that's just, but my mom is also like fierce about being an activist. Like she's an advocate for the LGBT community too. So like when I did come out to her, she was just like, nobody can ever really like say nothing about you to me. But yeah, like I recall like adults saying that, and so it's the same thing with kids, like people was talking or whatever. So I feel like with that situation, he was close enough to us because we were so young that like he was dating my cousin, a girl cousin, but like it was a situation where, you know, because he had that access, you know, because he could come into the house, because we was all playing together, it was nothing weird about it, but he was definitely the one who I would say first exposed me to sex. And so like, or, you know, just kind of like being like, it would be stuff like, oh, here we are playing a video game and I turn around, his pants is down. You know, stuff like that. Like, just being very, like, you know, so it's like, whoa, it just turned out.
Because it sounds like, to me, it was like a Moonlight situation. Did you watch Moonlight?
Yeah, I watched that movie.
So that's what it seems like.
It's on Netflix, too. You should catch it.
I need to watch it.
It seemed like very... I see that this panel doesn't watch a lot of television. I do. But...
I'm a Netflix person. I love Netflix.
But in terms of just, like, being... what was the guy's name? Not being
Trayvon, the main character.
The main character.
I think his name was like Trayvon.
I think it was Chiron.
Chiron.
Yeah. Anyway, but he was not gay. But then like the boy started kissing him type situation. Like it's not like he's not. You know what I'm trying to say? Like,
but see that guy, and I haven't like. It's not like we kept in contact or anything like that. But I don't even think he would say he's gay. Like to this day, if I ran into him or if we caught up, I'm pretty sure he has a girl or probably some babies running around. But
like
he was, I guess, I mean, that's the thing. We were so young. So it's at the same time, it's like, I do feel like people, you know, experiment when they're young and they don't necessarily live their life that way. Like I said, I don't know what he's up to these days, but I could also, like, he was dating my female cousin at the time and they were very, you know,
sexual.
You know, I don't know, but I'm saying they were always together. Like I felt like, you know, maybe they were, maybe they weren't, but I felt like he saw an opportunity with me, and it just was what it was.
So let me ask you a question. I'm sorry if I'm prying at all.
It's okay. I've actually never really talked about this, but I'm okay. I'm comfortable.
Okay, and if it's, you know, if it's too much, just let me know. When you say that. You mentioned sex, you mentioned touching, but was it the actual act? Because then you said he would just have his pants down. Right. So do you think that maybe it was more so you than him?
Like I was being flirtatious? I don't think so.
Well, because I'm saying if he's not touching you, he's just putting. I'm trying to say if he's not actually like physically touching you, he's not kissing you, he's not putting his hands on your body. He's just, I guess, getting naked or doing things. No,
I definitely think his intention was all the way there because it elevated. That's what I'm saying. Like, it starts with little things, but it's like... So what did it elevate to? Like, it was just a lot of... Okay, like I said, that was someone who was very close to our family and around us. So it would be like, let's say we playing a game, all of a sudden he's showing me his erect penis, you know what I mean? Right. Stuff like that. And then it's like, okay, so now it's left on me. What am I going to do? And then me being young, like I said, I was like I tried to really hold on to my innocence as long as I could. Like, I really did. And I would like get up and like walk out of the room, stuff like that. But then there were other instances where it's like, oh, we're playing hide and go seek, and it's like all of a sudden he finds me, but he wants to hump on me. Like shit like that. And it's just kind of like, all right, well, clearly, you know what I mean? Like, you have a motive. You have an intention. Right. It's just now up to me if I'm going to follow through with you. And my thing was always like, ew, you're nasty. Like, I run off. You know what I mean? But I knew where his head was. You know what I mean? And that's the only example that I have. That was the only person that I would say we were younger. And I like... You know, even with that, we were both so young. So it's like, I don't look at him as a predator even to this day. I think that...
sense of curiosity.
I think the curiosity was definitely there, and the opportunity, or what he saw as an opportunity, was there. Because like I said, if I was 9, then he had to be like, what, around 13? Something like that. So it was just kind of like...
puberty age.
He was just, coming into that. So, I mean, that's... But like I said, to your point, I don't think that he's the one who made me gay. Like, I can't carry that, because it's like, what's the point? And my thing is like, even with the religion aspect, I recall when I got to about the age 13 or 14 of me being like, I was up late in the night, and like my friend always says, God speaks to you in those hours in the morning.
Man,
but
that's why my ass is always up.
you know, but I was up late and could not go to sleep, and I was like crying my eyes out, having that conversation with God, like, I don't want to be this way. Like, don't make me this way, please. And at that point, I hadn't even messed with no guy, but I knew, like, I saw that. So to answer my own question, like around like that 14, 15 is when I started having those thoughts. And I guess I was on the internet more and seeing different guys and be like, I didn't jump out and say he was cute, but put it like this, I'm always going on your page. Why am I always on your page? Like, why am I, you know? And I had that conversation with God, and I was just kind of like, God, like, please don't make me this way. And I literally stayed up all night crying my eyes out. But I feel like in that conversation, what I left with was just God saying, I love you. And, you know, and I left it at that. Like, after that, I never really had much of a confliction, because I felt like whatever people out here have to say about me is one thing, but I know my relationship with God. So,
do you guys ever feel like sometimes, even at your age, present day, that sometimes you feel like, I don't want to be this way?
Yeah.
Why look over?
I just be trying to, like, you know, I just finished talking, so.
No, but if I do, it's honestly on some. It's just like, oh, it'd be so much easier if I just had a husband and we just did all the basic, regular things. It'd probably be easier. Yes, it's funny. My mother used to joke and be like, oh, you know, I just pray you get delivered. And I'm like, me too, Mom, because it'd be so much easier to come over. The tensions would be less. Life would be easy. I can have my pictures with my happy little family without all the extra questions and assumptions and everything else. Yes, absolutely, I think about that. But no, I don't need that. What would be my help?
Like she said, it would be easier. But I know that it's not meant.
Yeah, it's just like...
And I know it just based on the experiences that I've had with girls. Mm-hmm. I've tried the very last time.
So you had sex with a woman?
I have.
Wow. And I'm sorry, I think I asked you that.
Yeah.
And you said yes.
Yeah.
You did say yes.
I did say yeah.
Okay, I thought you said yes.
I think that's what I'm saying. Like, if you're going to, and I don't say choose because I don't believe that this is a choice, but I'm saying, like, if you're going to go down an alternate path, you at least are going to want to try the mainstream. You know what I mean? Because that makes your life a little bit easier.
Because I feel like for heterosexual people, I haven't tried a woman.
But you're the mainstream. You're the mainstream. So that's what I'm saying. Our life, like, it's like her mom said, why would you want to tack on another thing to being a black man or a black woman in this society? Why? So it's like, yeah, like based off of the backlash that I got from, you know, certain family members and, you know, certain people, yeah, like I wanted to be what I normal, you know what I mean? I tried to be normal, but at the end of the day, it's like, I guess it's like, and there are women in my life that still be like, you know, oh, I would be with you, you know, I would date you, whatever. And I'm like, damn, I would want to date you too, honestly. But it's just like, I feel like I'm not going to show up for you the way that you need to be showed up for. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, like, it shouldn't be a coercive thing. It should just be like I know I want to, be with you.
You think that it'll probably be like, if you were to be with a woman, let's say present day, some woman came and y'all had this conversation, it will be more so sex than actually a relationship.
If a woman were to come into my life, would it be just sex?
Yes, because you said that you wouldn't be there for her in ways that you would need to be.
I feel like I could be in a great relationship with a woman, but I think sexually is where we would fall short. Like, I think that I could raise a child with a woman. I think I could have a wife. I think I could definitely do those things. But it's like, am I going to still be cruising or trying to be, with a man on the low? And I don't want to do that to nobody. You know what I mean? Right. So that was the whole thing. Because my thing is, I know that could have been happened time and time again. But at the same time, I choose to be honest with people.
Guys, this was an amazing show. My first panel of the year. And I am so excited that I chose you three people to come on the show. Yes. It was nothing short of amazing. One, I want to toast to everybody.
Amen.
For this new year. Thank you guys for coming on. I wish you guys nothing but blessings and favor over any businesses you have, any wealth, health, all of that. Traveling mercies, of course. And guys, if you guys can just tell people how they can reach you, if they want to find you, want to talk to you, want you on their show, just tell them how they can find you.
Well, I don't have a show. However, you can find me on Instagram at Shabam Inc. That's SHAABAAM. Or you can find me at I am Will Leonard Allen. That's IamWileonardAllen. Phone number. You'll have to DM me for that.
Sir, this is not Jack.
Or hit his Jack. Hit his Jack.
This is not your Jack commercial.
No. Business inquiries only. No fresh stuff.
Okay, Darian.
And once again, I'm Darian Amaru. You can find me on Instagram, 3 words, Dare on Love. And I'm actually releasing these t-shirts at the end of the month. So this is a new venture that Arabia knows all about. And we're celebrating unsung Black women history figures. So check that out.
Okay.
So, I'm Chose. I didn't think about this part. I'm pretty sure you can find me at Chose, CHOESAY on Instagram. You can be fresh if you want, because I'm single. It's like, you're thirsty.
No,
not really. So, yeah, CHOESAY on Instagram.
Okay.
I just got me.
Okay. So guys, you know where to reach me. I am at ArabiaAskedYou. You can find me on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all of your social media. So don't forget to follow me. And always remember to like, subscribe, and share this video. It would be so important if you can comment and tell me what you thought about it, what you think, any questions you have for these people that we can just give it to them. But guys, just remember to like, subscribe, and share. And thank you again for watching. See you again for the next episode.